Just screwing with the wrong people.
Dude, we have to think.
Cross
Alright.
titties.
Alright, the name of this episode is Crossed. It's the 7th episode for Season 5 of The Walking Dead. Dude, they were crossed.
Ooh, crossed.
Yeah,
How-
didn't expect that. Cameo of my cross that no one can see anyway.
crossed.
So this episode, it was funny. Before we did this, Jack was saying, I don't know what to say about this episode.
Yeah, I don't know. I just mixed emotions on this one. It felt really derpy.
It was, I don't...
I remember you commented it was like 8 minutes before the episode ended. It's like, wow. I was like, what are they gonna end us with? Because it really didn't feel like they gave us that
They
much.
jammed the main plot point into the last 8 minutes
of
the episode. And it happened so quick. Like, obviously, spoilers. I say this in every video. It's in the description as well. But, like, Carol literally, and I don't know if this was her plan. Again, like, she was already hurt from that truck falling off the bridge. But I don't know if this was her plan. Literally, when they saw that car driving by, she just ran out. She just ran out into the street and got hit by the fucking car. Now, again, we know she's smart at this point. I mean, all the fucking flashbacks we saw had to have shown us that she's a smart and capable person at this point. So maybe she was doing that on purpose. But then again, if you're running out into traffic and getting hit, wouldn't that assume that, you're fucking gonna, cripple yourself? Like, honestly, what the fuck's that all about, honestly?
I mean, the biggest thing that this episode confirms is that Daryl comes back with Noah to the church. So that's who Michonne's gonna see when Daryl comes out of the woods, is Daryl and Noah. So that's confirmed. And Carol and Beth are in the hospital. We already knew that.
Yeah. Next week's episode, I mean, not to jump the gun, but just seeing the previews, again...
That one's going to be action.
I like seeing Rick as the main character, but now Rick, because Rick's no bullshit, at this point, we know. And he fucking murdered Gareth completely. Like, he's a no bullshit kind of guy, and we've seen enough of this at this point. So once Daryl says, look, there's these people, they got, Carol and Beth, he's like, it's going to be guns blazing. The only thing is, they've got half the group now. They don't have Glenn and the rest. I don't even know what we saw preview clips to that as well. It was funny. We saw preview clips for everything, basically.
Yeah.
Everything that the show's been splitting up. We saw clips for Glenn and Abraham, that whole group. We saw clips to Carol and Beth in the hospital, and then we also saw Rick's side of the group. We even saw Father Gabriel in the in that preview. Everyone was shown.
Yeah,
it was
these next two. I mean, because there's only 2 episodes left, so these next 2 episodes are definitely gonna be jam packed. But this one, I don't know. This one didn't really do it for me as far as.
This was a weird episode because they spend so much time.
It was. I mean, it was obviously time devoted to Carol's backstory. Although, the stuff that they showed us. Yeah, it was new stuff that they haven't really showed us. I mean, it's been thought out, but it hasn't been visualized yet. They showed us a minute clip of what happened directly after Rick made her leave, and she was at the house, and then when she saw the smoke, she came to the fucking prison or whatever. But the stuff, it wasn't really detailed.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, what did it do to advance her character? Because
it really did.
we saw this when she was gonna leave the car, and Daryl's like, "What are you doing?" And that was mentioned in the episode. Daryl was like, "Well, what if I didn't show up that day?"
Yeah.
But what did that answer? Is she trying to run away from all of the things she's done, kind of thing? And that's why she was
basically. Well, because she kind of explained that how she was originally submissive with her husband that beat her, and then when he died and she was at the prison, she was able to finally be the strong person that she wanted to be. But then after being that person, she wasn't really happy with herself and what she did, because now she regrets killing Tyrese's girlfriend, and then what happened with the 2 girls. And then that ties in with the whole thing with she doesn't she had the conflict with Daryl because she doesn't think we could save anyone anymore, and Daryl's like, well, we have to change because that's the only thing we can do.
Well, that's kind of weird. There was a role reversal. Daryl was gonna leave that kid, but Carol and Carol was like, I don't think we should do that kind of thing. But the thing is, it was an inevitability because the audience knew that kid was at the hospital with Beth, so they knew that eventually they were gonna come together and be like, oh, we have a common enemy. Like, the audience knew that, but the thing is, they had him be a temporary villain because, he stole their gear.
Right,
and
to
then,
survive, but...
Yeah, and then he, but the thing is, it's like, okay, they're gonna find it, but there was just so much filler. Like, one of the most irrelevant flashbacks, I think, ever, was after she takes down Terminus, where she's taking off...
Yeah, and she took off that parka, and... She wipes her face, and she stands back up.
And then she looks at the smoke.
And then the smoke, like the same smoke from the prison.
We already knew that. But, so what was new? Because at least...
I don't know if they were trying to tie together the connection, the smoke from the prison,
symbolize it, maybe symbolically,
Well, she wasn't there, and then the smoke from Terminus, she caused that. She caused the destruction. Although, so I don't know if that has any relevance, but, it's...
So maybe it's to bring it full circle. I don't know. There were just so many, and then another weird cutscene where Lizzie and Mika are being put in the ground.
Right.
Nothing was.
She looks into the sky and it fades out to the blur. It was a sky. It's but what?
It almost seemed like a deleted scene because in that episode, The Grove, where all that happens in season 4, there's that scene where they're putting him in the ground, and then it cuts, to them talking at night. It's almost like that scene's extended, and then it's almost like it's unused footage from season 4.
Yeah,
in
that's
this
kind of
episode.
what it is. It's where the fuck did that? Yeah, that's kind of how this episode played down. It was just really drawn out, and then they had a few things put in there. It's what the fuck?
The only interesting flashback I was kind of interested in was the one where they show what happens when Rick kicks her out. Because it was oh, where did she go for that period of time?
But I mean, even that one, it didn't really explain much. It wasn't very long or detailed. Okay, so she left. She was very upset. She found a house.
You know what?
And then after
I was more interested in finding out how she found Lizzie and Mika. Remember that really weird scene in season 4 where Lizzie's choking the baby and then Tyrese is going to kill those zombies?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he turns around. Oh, hi, it's Carol. She's just right there, ominously. It's where'd you come from? That would have been a good flashback in place of the other ones. I honestly think a flashback needed to be shown of Carol seeing them, maybe zombies and them freaking out. And then she comes behind and stabs a zombie, and then the girls are like, Carol, and they maybe bringing them back into this, just temporarily would kind of show the audience, oh, these are characters that meant something to Carol. Now they're dead. I don't know. I feel like that would have been because that was something weird for the audience. I feel like as audience members, they know that they voiced that. What the fuck? How did she just turn up out of nowhere? But I mean.
I don't know. I guess that's my biggest complaint about this particular episode because everything that they showed was things we already knew that happened, and they had to visualize. They had to show how they transpired because we already knew that this stuff went down, but we haven't seen it yet. But they didn't. To me, they didn't go beyond anything besides the basic. They didn't expand any thoughts. It's oh, I could have pictured that myself, of what happened.
It was literally just setting up an inevitability. It was because we knew at the end of episode 3 that he gets back to, because he sees Michonne, and Michonne's where's Carol?
Right.
Because Daryl the thing is, we had chunks of the story, and from 2 different episodes where we see Carol coming on the stretcher, and then when he comes back to the church, when Daryl comes back to the church. So we knew that shit was going to go down, but they should have known that. They should have taken the fact that we knew what was going to happen and maybe put some things that spliced it up. We didn't see that come. I don't know.
There weren't really that many surprises. I mean, they showed that.
I mean, they fell off a fuck. Explain the discrepancy. Now, I have to rewatch this, honestly, to understand this, but... With the van.
Also, one of our friends was saying, with the van, when Daryl took the rifle and was looking at it out the window, it seemed like when they were looking at it, the back of the van was hanging off the bridge, and you saw the crosses and whatever, and that's why you knew it was a hospital. It was part of the Andrea Hospital, whatever. But then when they get to the van, the front of it's hanging off, and I didn't really look at it enough. So I would have to do this again, but I don't know if it's a film anomaly or because that seems like a pretty big anomaly. So I can't imagine that it's.
I feel like I'm gonna have to watch it back to really, because
it's weird.
No, because I remember the 2 white crosses were on the back, even when Daryl went up to the van and opened the.
They were always on the back, but the back.
It was reversed, the position of the truck.
Yeah.
But how would they have seen the crosses if the position was reversed?
Because the crosses were facing out. Like, the back of the van was what they were looking at, but the back of the van was what was hanging off the fucking ledge instead of the front of the van.
I don't know. That's weird. I'm not sure. I gotta look at that again. But, yeah, I mean, not much. I mean, I'm more... This episode kind of just got me more excited. I don't know. I feel like The Walking Dead kind of does that good, just getting, what's exciting? You know, kind of like the cliffhanger every freaking week. What's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next? You know, kind of like the leading in. And, you know, I mean... This is gonna... I don't know, because the thing is, you don't know the philosophy... I mean, you kind of do. You know, I don't know what the philosophy is of these police officers at this... I mean, they're just trying to save people. I mean...
Right, because even Noah said that. It's like, don't go out there, because if you go out there, you're going to have to kill them, because right now, all they're going to do is, you know, they're going to save her, and they have the equipment to save her. Isn't that what you want? And ironically enough, like... So this kind of leads in, maybe she did it on purpose, maybe she didn't, but Carol was really badly injured from falling in the truck, so she does need medical attention, so ironically, she'll get it now. Originally, I thought that before that scene, I thought that Daryl would concoct some plan and like they would somehow get Carol in there, like, and put her in there, like, on purpose, like as an insurgent to find Beth and get Beth out of there. But then she ran out there and fucking got hit by the car. So
I feel like this season finale might lead up to someone dying. I know that they haven't had a... Well, I mean, other than, you know, Bob's Burgers and fucking...
Bob's Burgers.
Yeah, but, like, I don't know. I feel like either Carol or Beth is gonna die in the season. Because
I don't know about that.
That's my prediction. Either of those two. Because, I mean, especially with Carol, it's almost like she's trying to check out. Like, I've done so much harm. Like, because that was the thing with the car. I need to leave.
Sacrifice herself.
Yeah, like she's kind of like, I need to leave. But maybe that was like a metaphor. Like, I need to leave. But now maybe in this sense that when there's this whole showdown, she might get in between the crossfire.
Yeah, I mean that might make sense because it would be kind of poetic justice for her, like the way she goes out. Since she just said that she doesn't believe that we could save anyone. The way she goes out is like either like saving Jess. Jess. Beth.
New character confirmed.
Yeah, no, saving Beth, but she ends up dying. So, who knows? I mean, that could be a thing.
We've only just got to know Beth's story. Like we don't really... I mean, because she wasn't like a character that was really given much focus, to be honest. Because she was kind of dramatic in season 2 at the farm, and then she was kind of like a mom. She was like a mom at the prison. She really didn't do shit. And then when she was with Daryl, you got to see a little bit more of her open up and become a person.
Cop stole her.
Yeah, and then she had her own episode, which showed that she's you remember the cop's like, you're not a fighter, and then she throws the vape. Yeah. It kind of showed that she's got a fighter potential inside of her. So, in my mind, it wouldn't make sense to kill her. Because I feel like the characters they kill off, they have a reason to killing them. It's not just, they're... Like, I feel like there's a progression, especially, you know, when Gareth chopped off Bob's leg. With Bob, they showed how he was alone, and then he was accepted, and then he was very happy, and he was optimistic, and then that optimism was crushed by him getting bit, and then, you know, his leg chopped off. So, that was the progression with Bob. I don't see it in terms of, you know... I don't see it in terms of, you know... For Carol, I kind of do. That's why I was saying she might die. And also, we got to think of how our Morgan tie-in's going to come here. They didn't put him in that first episode for nothing at the end of that. Because there's been speculation...
coming in somewhere at the end of the...
It's just going to be weird, like, oh, hey... Morgan, I haven't seen you in a while. Want to help us? It's like, I don't know. Or maybe Glenn's group finds him? But nobody on that group knows who he is, though. I don't know. I have no fucking idea. The thing is, again, in the comics, he does go with them to DC. He goes on their mission to DC. But that's, you know, back when they thought Eugene was a fucking scientist. God only knows what Abraham's gonna do now, because he's like a fucking mental breakdown right now. But anyway, instead of beating around the bush, let's give our scores for this.
I'm gonna shit on this one. I'm giving this one a 7.5 because I've been really generous with my scores. So like,
I'll give it a 7. That's
like,
my
this one
review.
I'm shitting on. This was definitely a filler. I mean, I'm really excited for the last 2 episodes. There's definitely gonna be some stuff going down, but like, this episode didn't do it justice for me. I mean, they showed what we already knew, and they didn't show it in a very exciting way. Only like you said, the last 8 minutes, and everything else was just filler and flashbacks and shitty titties. So that's what you get.
I feel like more time should have been spent on the Noah story, like them finding
Yeah.
him. I feel like almost maybe he would be leading them
Yeah,
on.
so like
I feel like
we don't know how he tracked, like, because he left, and then because we don't really know the timing of the events, like when he left and when they were coming in, like how long were they in Atlanta before he found them? Like, how did he track them down? Like, he's injured and he found them, and it's like, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like more time should have been spent on that because that was what the audience wanted. Because I mean, for most of it, it was just, you know, Carol and Daryl just kind of like wandering the city, and then there were the two girls and the infected, and they burnt. Like, there was just so much meaningless stuff. Like you should have focused on what the audience was anticipating and dragged that out, because that's the storyline we're focused on, and then it brings to this because it should have been dragging out with the whole, you know, the kid. And then your epic conclusion is Carol getting hit by the car, and now it's like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like that, because then you keep your anticipation. I feel like you lowered the anticipation. People are like, all right, I'm just sitting here watching them kill. They're hanging out. They're chatting. We're seeing flashbacks we really don't need to see. Oh, and then action at the end. Like, it just, you didn't keep the pace. Like, the pace was down here, and then it rose. Like, I think the pacing was very off for this episode. It was crossed. The pacing was crossed, I suppose, so.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll be back. There's actually only two more. The next 2 Sundays will be the only 2 more Sundays you'll get out of these reviews. So stay tuned and see you later.